45 days. This is how long Highguard lasted. This is actually insane, and we really do need to talk about this. I'm going to be fully honest here. It is very easy to go in on Highguard. It's very easy, and like thousands of people are doing this, where it's just rip them apart, right? Whatever if devs lose their job, just go in. Let's just say, hey, look, the game was trash. What were you doing? This is a trash decision, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, there's been some pretty hot takes from developers. Some I've covered on this channel. But I think ultimately, this is a catastrophic management level failure. The game would have been doomed years ago. Like, this game never had the foundation to go forward. It never had a chance, really. And this is summed up by the fact after 45 days, all funding is pulled. Wildlight Entertainment is gone. Everything is shut down. This is catastrophic. I don't understand in what world you design a game. Let me be real with you guys here, right? Because I've been thinking about this a lot today. You've got games like No Man's Sky that have a chance to redeem themselves, but they only have that chance if the team behind the game are committed to actually developing the game. Highguard, for as much as people go in on the game and rag on the game and say it was shit and it was another live service shooter and all of this stuff, it did have some unique elements. The raid thing, base versus base, it was pretty cool as a concept. Execution was terrible. Where would that be after another few years of development, right? Maybe the game could have been on a slow burn. Maybe the game could have made a comeback. None of this would ever have happened with Highguard because clearly they didn't have the runway, the, I guess, cash to burn. None of this was built in to their plans, which to me seems actually insane. And it begs the question, did this game fail years ago and they just let it run to completion knowing it wouldn't do very well? Were they genuinely delusional? Again, I'm not going to go over all of this in this video because there's loads of different articles, loads of different sources that all say conflicting things. But what is so alarming to me is the game was shoved out of the door, didn't get enough revenue generation. It's not about players. I mean, it had 100,000 players and they very quickly dropped off because the game wasn't very good. It didn't really keep you very engaged. It had some nice ideas, but they weren't very well, I guess, put together and managed. And then the game has got 45. Well, most of the staff were fired after a few weeks, and then most of the after 45 days, that's it. It's just shut up shop. There is no chance of redemption. There is no way they can fix these numbers. But as I said, it would have been because revenue is too low. Now, again, there are fundamental issues with this game. You've got to remember, it had nearly 100,000 players, and it lost like basically 90% of them after a few days, or maybe even after a day. It was something insane, the statistic was. And obviously, if you look at SteamDB, now, don't worry, I'm not going to bore you with that in this video, but it's like under 100 players. It's actually tragic. Like, the game is finished. So this is the announcement, and they just say, yeah, Highguard's final update arriving soon. Thank you for playing with us. Today, we're sharing difficult news that we've made the decision to permanently shut down Highguard on March 12th. Since launch, more than 2 million players stepped into Highguard's world. You shared feedback, created content, and many believed in what we were building. For that, we're deeply grateful. Again, you know, you can say 2 million people played the game. How could you have not made money off that, right? It's because the monetization wasn't great. It's because the game didn't, you know, why would you invest in a game? And I'm using the word invest very lightly here because you're just buying skins in the game that could be turned off at any time. Like any live service game could be the same. But this game, it was clear they were pulling support. So why would you get behind the game? It was just insane. It's such a crazy decision to let staff go and put out that message of we don't give a shit, the game's finished. It's so crazy to me. Despite the passion and hard work of our team, we have not been able to build a sustainable player base to support the game long term. Servers will remain online until March the 12th. We hope you'll jump in with us one more time to show your support and get those final great matches in while we still can. The team is still excited to release one game update to enjoy in the remaining life of the game. We'll be adding a new warden. This is kind of funny as well. A new weapon, account level progression. I'm going to be honest, guys, it's probably not the best time to add that. And skill trees, full patch notes are coming, and we're targeting tonight or tomorrow for the patch. I do agree with this guy on Twitter, though. Why would you have a roadmap and then cancel the game? Like, if this stuff was in development, was being worked on, At least give it a year. Like, this is what I don't understand. These games, these live service games, I know it is incredibly hard to break through in this genre, but if you're making one of these games, you have to plan for 6 or 12 months after with effectively no revenue to try and build your game back up. Surely you would be thinking like that. Not as soon as the game launches, we've just got to go, whatever, we've just got to deal with it, right? If we get no players, we'll just close the shop. If we get loads of players, then we've hit the jackpot. That is a crazy way to run a game, right? That is just crazy to me. So what about the Geoff Keighley element in this? Again, this is something you see people talk about a lot. Did he send the game out to die? Now, it's kind of ironic that he's tweeting, Highguard will go offline March the 12th. He probably likes the fact he's got 8.7 million impressions on this and will add it to the Game Awards, generate loads of views deck or whatever he uses to try and get money off game companies to run their trailers. Of course, we know the story. He put Highguard in the premiere slot right at the end of the show, the big finale. It's Highguard. Everyone's like, oh dear, the trailer's not great. We know the story again, that the devs didn't even plan to launch the game like this. They wanted to just shadow drop the game. Geoff said, no, you can have the major slot on my show because I love the game so much. So they went ahead, made a trailer really fast, didn't really sell the game. In fact, just created negative PR. But I'm going to say this, and I wholeheartedly believe this. This would have been a game that would have struggled to break 10K players on Steam. It would have struggled. With Geoff Keighley forcing it to have this level of scrutiny actually gave the devs more of a chance. That almost hitting 100,000, almost 10 times the potential player base. I think that's only a win. Obviously, the devs were way out of their depth. The game was way out of its depth. The management, everyone involved was way out of their depth. And it just was doomed to fail. But I do believe it's a bit easy to just blame Geoff and say, Geoff was the reason that it failed. He wasn't. He just made the failure bigger, but it still would have failed. This game would have launched, as I say, had maybe 9,000 concurrent max, then dropped to where it is now. That's just what would have happened. And this was probably his most famous tweet. In 48 hours, I'll be accepting your apologies. No. So, of course, this was after the announcement, and everyone was like, oh my God, this game looks kind of mid. What's going on here? And then, so famous last words. So I'm sure you've seen the Concordian timeline. This is, it's just bait, right? But if you look at this, obviously Concord was a horrific failure. A lot of people seem to think Concord is like Highguard's on the same level as Concord. I'm afraid it really isn't. You've got to remember, Concord was like $200 million plus of development. It had its own TV show, if you remember, right? It had its own like customized PlayStation controllers. In fact, was it 200 or was it 400 million? Let me just check that. Yeah, it was 400 million reported that it cost to develop. So Concord, and that went offline much quicker than Highguard. Concord had no players. Like, Concord had like 1,000 or so, and that was it. It was nowhere near it's much worse of a collapse, I should say, than Highguard could ever be, right? Highguard cost less to develop. It lasted a bit longer. It got more players, and then it failed, right? But Highguard didn't have, well, at least I hope it didn't, 400 million of development. It didn't have a TV show. It didn't have loads of branded controllers and it being bigged up as the next big, massive live service game from Sony. It had none of that. So really, the comparison here is blah. Obviously, the whole point of this is just games that are like live service slop that, again, we don't want this. Why are we being fed this kind of shit again? So clearly Concord was terrible. This Highguard being Concord 2, yes, in the sense that it failed, but obviously not in the wider scheme of things, right? It was a lot bigger of a failure Concord was, even though Highguard is a failure, don't get me wrong. The next one is Marathon. Now, this one's kind of close to my heart because I do like this game. And I'm going to say I do like this game. But I also said in the video where I put together my thoughts on the Server Slam weekend, this is a niche game. This isn't a game that's going to get Ark Raiders levels of success, right? I reckon it's going to sit probably like 15, 20, 25k concurrent users on Steam just after, a week or so after launch, 2 weeks after launch. I don't know what it'll do launch number wise, but I feel it's just, this is a game for people who want to engage in PvP. It's very sweaty. You have to like the aesthetic. Everything about it makes it more and more niche. If you're like me and you like Blade Runner and that kind of like sci-fi aesthetic, this game is probably for you. And then if you like PvP shooters, it's probably for you. And then if you like hero shooters, it's probably for you. And then if you like looting, it's probably for you. If you like ambiguous lore, it's probably for you. See what I'm saying? It's very niche, this is. So I think it'll be okay. But again, the problem with this will be, this is going to have cost a lot of money to develop. Like, what does Bungie need, and subsequently Sony, as a return to count this game as a success? It's going to be difficult to see. But I don't think this is going to flop. I think Bungie will very firmly support this game, and almost it might be a No Man's Sky situation, which is another thing that I said in my video, where it might actually develop and add more content over time, because I think sometimes it lacks with things to do. But again, if it's just being a pure PvP loot or extraction shooter, then, you know, with a sci-fi aesthetic, it kind of does do that. But yeah. This other one that my webcam is blocking, but I'll just disable my webcam just so you can see it. But I'm sure you guys know, this is Horizon Hunter-Gatherers, or Gathering. This is going to flop, and it's going to be Concord 3. Mark my words. Okay, so there we go. I did say I'd make a video just to sort of, I guess, put the end cap onto the whole Highguard drama. I think it's a shame. It's a shame for the developers, obviously. This is an incredibly hard time to find a job as a game developer as well. I think it's been terribly poorly managed, like unbelievably like terrible management, bad game design direction as well, I think, for Highguard. And it's a shame, but it is now over. And we thought this would be the case, because as soon as you start sacking development team members, reducing team size, you're never going to be able to recover. It is the start of a downward spiral, and it has come to fruition. The game is closing on the 12th of March, and it lasted for 45 days. All right, guys, thanks for watching the video. I've been Stylos. If you enjoyed that, then let me know what you think about this in the comments below, and I'll catch you on the next video. See you soon.